The red-lipped icon that had made a huge impact in Hollywood with her platinum blonde hair and her flowy white dress cotton filmed, it was Marilyn Monroe who became an icon, a fashion one, and also a movie star. Marilyn Monroe became one of the world's successful and most iconic figures in Hollywood and in the world. Who wouldn't know who she is? She's best known for her Hollywood films and her fashion and just how wonderful she was. And many don't know that she came from a sad background and sad childhood, and her life wasn't always glitz and glam. And before all the fame and her sudden death, she became she was a very successful person and was always looked up to by women and by everyone in the world. No one comes near of how iconic she was, whether you think about Hollywood or just like fashion, modeling, or um, actresses. She made a big impact on it because of how creative and how self motivated she was and how much she wanted to be successful after her struggles growing up. And because just how funny she was and iconic in the beauty and fashion industry and also the filmmaking. Everyone knows about Marilyn Monroe and how iconic she was, but not everyone knows about the struggle she faced when she was a child and the struggle she also faced during Hollywood. First, I will talk about her childhood and how her mother was to her and how she was growing up, and her early adulthood, and the start of her career, and also her accomplishments, but also her struggles in Hollywood and her success and her unfortunate death from a very young age. Marilyn Monroe's sad childhood came from being born without knowing who her dad was and also jumping from different fostering homes and also ended up in a orphanage um, because she was unwanted by her mother and her mother suffered from a lot of mental illness. She was born by the name Norma Jean Morton, and she was actually born in a foster home in California. And Monroe also stated that her earliest memories was her mom strangling her with a pillow when she was a baby inside her crib. Monroe was in and out of foster care and was not allowed to be adopted by her families because her mother refused for that to happen, and she was placed into numerous different fostering homes and also an orphanage where she suffered abuse, and she ended up suffering from different mental illnesses as well growing up. Marilyn Monroe, young adulthood, in the start of her career, she dropped out of high school and never completed it at the age of 15, and she saw a way out, so she also got married at the age of 16 to a military guy at the age of 16, which was named Jimmy Dougherty, which was her first husband. Monroe always dreamed of becoming an actor. She worked at a machine factory in California while her husband was stationed somewhere else, and that's where her iconic photo of her working in the factory with her brown hair and curls came from. A photographer happened to be inside the factory taking pictures of the woman working there, and she was one of them, and that's where she got founded by a photographer and started modeling after that. When her husband returned from where he was stationed at the South Pacific, she had become a successful model, and he was shocked about it. And 1946 was the year that she signed a contract to be modeling and to start her first movie contract. Marilyn Monroe was also was also was also becoming an actor, and she ended up dyeing her hair blonde from brown to start to portray herself in film as a blonde. The many struggles in Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe struggled from extreme anxiety, and that also caused her to lose opportunities in her career, such as um, 20, 20th Century Fox just dropped her out of nowhere because she would often come late, or she would often have anxiety attacks and she wouldn't complete the task, and she was just really not punctual, and they just didn't like that about her. And she was also paid less from her other co-stars, so she also was really upset about that. And she was just treated badly by 20th Century Fox, and she ended up getting fired unexpectedly, and she would also run out of money after that. So she was really destined to like follow her dream and continue and prosper from that. And her second husband, Joe DiMaggio, was often jealous about her models in her photo shoot, such as like the flowy white dress that everyone knows. He got jealous and mad and was often physical abusive to her, and just wasn't supportive of her photo shoots and modeling career. And after 9 months of marriage with him, they divorced. Monroe had 3 husbands and experienced 2 miscarriages during her lifetime, and Monroe passed away in her California home at the age of 36. She was found with empty sleeping pill bottle and next to her, and though many people suspicions around her death, and eventually it was ruled out as a overdose. In conclusion, Marilyn Monroe was an icon and will forever be remembered to be that, and just be iconic from her films, fashion, and just beauty. Her sad and unfortunate childhood and early adulthood, and her sad experiences during Hollywood, makes her look even more inspiring for women and young girls, because we could overcome the struggles and become successful like her. And there will never be someone as iconic as her, and she will always be remembered by her films, beauty, and just her as a person.